Everybody, we are here with Mr. Christopher Lee Parson. And somebody called me. Can you believe it?
That's awesome.
You know what? I really need to talk to them about my warranty, but I'll do that later. This is the gentleman behind a new film called A Cloud So High, and it's going to be debuting at UK's FrightFest, horror and fantasy film festival on Friday, March 11th. How are you, dude?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm well.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about this movie. You produced, you wrote and directed this film, A Cloud So High. So what can you tell us about this movie?
Well, I mean, it was something that was very loosely inspired by the Golden State Killer.
Okay.
Actually. Although it's, I would say, you know, loosely because we don't have the level of violence that he had in the level of violence that he you know perpetrated is not really shown in this movie like that. There's not 50 rapes, there's not a bunch of murders, there's not, you know, all this other stuff that he did, but it was very, very loosely kind of somewhat inspired, I should say, by the Golden State Killer, and then a few other incidents that I had experienced over the years.
Mm-hmm. And so there's the father and then the son. The son comes back from active duty, and then craziness ensues, and it's all kind of told in a faux documentary flashback style.
Yeah, exactly, and until the point where it's not, you know?
Well, yeah, but we don't want to blow the whole show. Now, question: why did you choose Golden State Killer? Was there something? What was there for you?
Well, I mean, it wasn't just him. I mean, years ago, a lot of years ago, I got attacked by 3 perpetrators I'd never seen before.
Sorry.
And oh no, I appreciate it. But I'd never seen them. And when the police questioned me, it was sort of well, do you know people that are involved in illegal activities? And they kind of wanted to kind of blame me somehow for it. So that was probably the inspiration for why Paul is so anti, you know, establishment and anti-police and so forth. And then a few years after that, I was with my then girlfriend. We were taking a quick, you know, weekend getaway up to Pismo Beach here in California. And she woke me up one night when we were there screaming, saying that there was a peeping Tom watching us sleep. So there were those incidents, and then there was a third incident where I had overheard these 2 sort of elderly gentlemen talking about, did you hear that they linked the rapes in Sacramento to this guy that killed 10 people down in Southern California? And I said, what? I could overhear it in the next aisle. I thought, what are you talking about? And their conversation had quickly turned to something else. But when I left the hardware store with my batteries or whatever it was I was buying, I never forgot it. So you have those 3 sort of incidents there. And I thought, oh man. And it was only later that I learned that we were talking about the Golden State Killer. In fact, he wasn't even called the Golden State Killer until
he had like
17.
Yeah. He had 3 different names for 3 different areas.
Right. He was like the East Area Rapist. And then before that, I think he was the Visalia Ransacker.
I think that was my favorite name.
The Visalia Ransacker. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue.
Oh, it doesn't? Yeah.
So it's weird that you kind of had a brush with it, and then you had your own bit of violence going on, and then
I was very lucky that my brush was that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, kind of very, very lucky.
6 degrees of separation thing. So you wrote and produced and directed.
Yeah.
What is your first feature? So
right.
Okay. So there's a lot to unpack there, but was this experience overwhelming for you, or did you just kind of fall easily into those roles?
It's a bit of both, actually. I mean, it was overwhelming, but then when you realize, well, look, we've got we've got to do this because the movie obviously has a very, very, very slim budget. So to keep costs down, that's really why I elected to do those roles, like cutting the movie and scoring it and all that stuff, just to keep the cost down.
Did you get overwhelmed? Were there?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Every day was overwhelming.
But was it worth doing?
It was absolutely worth doing.
See.
Yeah, it was. But you'd look at a cut of it and go, oh, great. Now I need these 3 little tiny pieces of footage or this little newspaper insert and things like that. And you'd have to go do them. And luckily I owned the gear. So I would just go, all right, I guess we got to do this, and set it up and just get cracking.
Man, well, good job on that.
Thank you.
So when did you start the project? How long did it take from just like you going, okay, I'm really going to sit down and do this, to like right now?
I'd say about 10 years. It felt like April-ish of 2012. Oh my gosh. It seemed something like that. And then I would kind of go into my sort of little studio. And at the time, my wife and I were living in Westwood, California. And I would just go in there and just start to write as much music as I could and perform as much as I could, and go, oh, well, maybe that'll be for this scene, and maybe that'll be, because the script hadn't been really written.
Right. So you kind of pulled inspiration from the melodies you were creating.
Yeah, kind of. Although it sounds a little bit egocentric to say you were inspired by yourself, but
well, I mean, you start exploring. I mean, fair, but you start exploring those notions and
you play something and put it together, and then play it back, and you go, oh, okay, well, maybe I could use this for when he's peeping on people. And then in the final cut of the movie, you go, okay, well, I didn't use that for that place at all. So the music would shift around quite a bit. I was just lucky that I had as much of it as I did. So
yeah. Now, I think what fascinates me is your journey as an artist and creator.
Sure.
You graduated from USC School of Cinema and Television, and
sure.
Where did you land fresh out of college?
Fresh out of college? Oh, well, I mean, believe it or not, I think I went to intern for free after college because I couldn't find a job doing anything.
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah. So I interned for quite a bit for this guy, this producer named Trevor Engelson.
Okay.
Who is, I think, most famously known these days as the ex-husband of one Meghan Markle. So way back when, he had a management / production company. I'm sure he still does. I think he executive produces the television show Snowfall. So I think he's doing okay. But I interned for him and learned a lot, and then got a job from that working in talent management, and just tried to learn as much as I could, reading contracts for writers and directors and so on. And
then you ended up getting into voice work.
Yeah.
So what were some of your favorite gigs?
I mean, I loved working on Rango a great deal. It was an animated film that Gore Verbinski did. And just the fact that we were actually there at stage 42 at Universal shooting this thing live with the other actors there. And they never do that for voiceover. It's always just, okay, you're going to come in from 2 to 6, and then you'll go into this booth that's often too cold. And then, 4 hours later, you're done. And that's it. It's always done in isolation, but Rango was not done in isolation. And, Johnny Depp is this far away from you yelling this line. He was really that far away, and it was really funny. It's really hard not to laugh, because he was very convincing as this lizard, on that one. But I mean, there's lots of them that are cool. Assassin's Creed was a lot of fun. Doing that, it was motion capture, and so we had to wear these gigantic rigs, and it made it very challenging to act. But it was a lot. It was a great deal of fun.
That's hilarious. to act with any manner of subtlety.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was a trip.
So yeah, so really, really cool, a kind of journey that you went through as far as being involved here, there, all over the place in different, aspects of film, and then you went and made your own film.
Yeah.
So are there any lessons that you learned from making this film? What were the strongest takeaways? What can you share with indie filmmakers? Anything?
Gosh, I could probably go on for days, but we've got minutes, not days. I would say, what can I? That's a great question. I would say really just try to. The old adage is true. If you're going to direct something, really and truly wear the most comfortable shoes that you can.
That's That's hilarious.
Yeah, and then try to listen and learn and absorb as much as you can about the other fields that you don't feel so well trained in. Like I had recorded a ton of voiceover myself, just voice over the years, working from home, because I worked from home since like 2011. And so I've recorded a lot of myself and everything. But on cloud, the biggest lessons were in sound and mixing and engaging, what things should sound like, what they sound, what things sound like when just a lot of sound stuff, basically, is the way I can put it. I'm being hit now with all these lessons that I learned.
No, it's fine. You know what? Yeah. Keep going. I mean, because I really love to focus on these types of things because I love to give other indie filmmakers their energy, their fuel, to get out there and do it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that word indie filmmaker, but the truth is that there are a ton of films that are legendary that were independent movies, but you don't think of them as independent movies.
No, because they made it big.
Because they made it big. I know it's going to sound crazy, but wasn't The Empire Strikes Back an independent film?
Was it though?
It kind of was.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was a Fox movie.
Well, it was financed by Lucasfilm.
Okay, fair.
I think it was George who I think regained the rights to the material and then said, okay, I'm going to bankroll this myself through Lucasfilm.
Okay.
Obviously taking out a $30 million. Well, Apocalypse Now is another independent film.
Yeah, that is.
Which is
Studios and
yeah.
And Halloween was one of the most successful independent films of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Or the most for like years.
For a lot of years. Yeah. And then Blair Witch, and then
Blair Witch blew up, and
and then other oddball movies, like not an oddball movie, but an oddball, well, I guess it is oddball because you don't think of it, but The Searchers is an independent movie. That wasn't financed by Warner Brothers, I don't think. I think it was financed by C.V. Whitney, that one.
And then they came and cashed in.
Yeah, they came and cashed in. Yeah.
The cows came home.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of that. There's a lot of,
So I guess the message is just to do it.
Just to do it. Yeah. Just to do it. And it was crazy, but I mean, that we were going to take our own money and make this movie. But my late grandmother-in-law, was alive when we started this, and she said, "Oh, you got to do it. You got to do it, and you can come over here and shoot scenes." And we did. We went over to her house and shot scenes. And she was such a great sport.
That's awesome. And you were able to get John Savage to come on board.
Yeah, a stroke of luck. Yeah.
Wow. How was it working with him?
I mean, it was great. I was just a little slow to understand that he would do his method thing. And I would sit there going, oh, he's really pissed off. And then not realize, oh, he's not pissed off. He just wants to get his, his on-screen anger, going. Like I remember one time, his name is
John Not So Savage. Really?
John, not so savage. No, I mean, he could be a savage. I mean, a good savage, but yeah, he was a savage when the camera was on, which is when it counts.
You were going to tell me a funny story. What was the?
Oh yeah, you've seen the movie, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the picture, when they have this altercation, John started saying, I've worked on movies for a lot of years, and I could do your job, I could do your job, I could do your job, I could do your job. And then I didn't realize, like, oh, he's not serious. And he told me, he's like, that thing before, when I was saying I could do your job, I was just trying to get pumped up for the scene and trying to get irritated enough. And I thought, oh, okay. I just wasn't used to that,
Yeah.
I wasn't used to that. I was used to going into a booth and then having them say, and we're rolling, and you somehow just have to turn it on and turn it off and just
Right.
do it, whatever it is.
So that was a whole new experience for you, working with somebody who was nothing. Well, are you going to be going to the premiere?
Yeah.
Excellent. What have you been out of the country since the pandemic, or?
I went to Costa Rica.
Oh, well,
that counts. Yep.
That definitely counts. But man,
yeah,
what a place to go to.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, honestly, I wish you the best of luck on this premiere, and
thank you so much.
I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about the film. And
my pleasure.
Listen, make another one. Come back. Let's chat some more. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Is there any way for people to see it outside the festival yet, or no?
Not yet. It's going to open, we think, in the late summer, early fall. Okay. So you'll hear more about it around that.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay, everybody. So keep a lookout for A Cloud So High. Maybe towards the end of the year. It's premiering it, or you can go see it at FrightFest in the UK, and
go to Scotland and see it.
You know what? It's okay. You can do that. And Christopher, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Keep in touch.